All right, that is our Cool Online Tools segment, which brings us through to our main billing tonight. And that's all about how to build your list, lead magnets at work with a little AI help. So your speaker tonight is myself. So for those that don't know me, I think this most people do. I do see some new faces here as well. So if you are new here, by the way, welcome along. So this is really an open community for businesses to, where I say we share some of these apps, tools and strategies. Normally we've got a guest speaker on, and I try and grab at least a spot here once every month or 6 weeks just to share some of the stuff that I've been learning as well too. So So tonight's topic is about lead magnets. There's a specific reason for it. I do cover this for people on the show every now and again. But one of the reasons why we talk about lead magnets is I see a problem coming up time and time again. In fact, two major problems, which I'm going to sort of share with you. So let me just share the screen. Share this window here. We'll come through to this presentation. And let's put it on present mode. You'll be pleased to know that I've only got 6 slides tonight. That doesn't mean that I'm going to talk any less. It just means that we haven't got a million slides to have to race through for tonight. And I should say, the tool that I used for creating these slides was Canva. So I used to use Google Slides quite a bit, but sort of fallen in love with Canva because they can do all sorts of creative things in there. All right, well, look, before I do get to these mistakes that people make, let me tell you a story. The first story is, did anyone see the live video that I did this morning about tonight's session? Just give us a show of hands if you did see that today. Just having a look at everyone. Okay, no one. All right, I'm going to stop doing these lives. Not only am I not going to be able to save them, but no one looks at them anyway. All right, so I can tell you the story without repeating myself. And true story, had an email through from someone who is in business, a reasonably successful business, been through COVID, and they've lost all their staff, and they're really rebuilding again. So it's a solo business, and I think they've got a virtual assistant, and they are looking to grow their team. So one of the issues that was presented with them is that not only did they lose the team, they lost the impetus. They're in the property industry, and so that affected that particular industry as well too, and it's in the investing side of things. They've got a great product, a great service. They've got a really good reputation, been in the industry for something like 25 years. But the problem they've got now is generating enough leads. They deal with people that are in the higher income bracket. And some of these people don't spend much time on social media. And if they were spending time on social media, it might be a little bit in the LinkedIn area, possibly on Facebook, but probably not much on Facebook or Instagram, and certainly not TikTok, probably not Snapchat and some of those other platforms. So in order to generate leads, there is a propensity for people to think, where do I do that? So if you are thinking about generating leads, what's the easiest, quickest way, do you think, to start to generate leads online? Any sort of clues there? Either unmute and tell me or drop it into chat. Easiest, quickest way to generate leads. What do you think people often do? All right, LinkedIn. So email marketing. Yeah, yep. So shoot out some emails. LinkedIn, advertising. Yep. That one's on the button. It is advertising. It's paid ads. And so generally the two areas that people are looking at are doing Facebook ads or Google ads. That is the most common one for lead generation. It's also one of the biggest mistakes that people make is to run paid ads at the very start. And the reason why is, actually, I'll come back to that reason. So here's what's happened. He's got 2 social media agencies out running ads for him for his product and service on social media platforms that his ideal client rarely goes to, to try and generate leads for a high-end product or service. So, and you might think, well, how dumb and stupid is that? But it is not an uncommon thing. It is something that people do on a fairly regular basis. Not to say that it won't work, but the strategy is not going to work for this reason here. One, that his clients and customers are not there. So that's a problem to start with. Two is he's marketing to his end customer as well too. And I'll come back and talk about why that's sometimes not a good idea. And it comes down to the ad is going to his offer, which is to have a free consultation with him. So they're going from ad to free consult. So giving away something for free. What's wrong with that? Because I should say too that he said that he's not getting much response, or it's going a little slower than expected. He asked the social media agencies about, well, this is a little bit slower than I was expecting. And their response is, I hear this all the time too, yes, it does take time. So, it can take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months to actually get there. It does take time. All right, so why is it that this is not really working for him? So, yep, got some here. No, this is going to be a hard one. No, like, or trust. Yep, they don't know. They don't even trust him, or it's not about sort of knowing or liking him. They don't even know him. So they're going from, I don't even know who you are. Why would I want to have a conversation with you? But yet so many agencies will send people from, I don't know you, to a conversation, or booking in a calendar. What else we got? No one values it if it's free. Yes, that can be a problem, that they don't value it free, but we're at the free stage at the moment. So they're not even going to pay for anything yet. One, because they don't know the person enough to even like them or to trust them. So therefore they're not even going to pay for anything at this stage, because that condition isn't met. So free is the only thing he can offer to get some people in. So, but yes, there is no value for it, and there is a time and place to start charging for that. He does charge for his services, but this essentially is a sales call. So they're sending these people to a sales call, and they'll get a whiff that it's a sales call from the ad, because no one just gives away this sort of stuff for free conversations. It is a conversation to come and buy something. So people know that anyway. Yeah, they don't know them. Groups where your ideal customers hang out. Yes, you do need to find out where these ideal customers hang out. And so one of the problems is it's not on Facebook and it's not on Instagram. So it's in the wrong place. So you can spend as much money as you like, to the wrong place and still have zero result. It's a bit like that joke. I don't know if it's a joke or not, but the one about the person who lost their contact lens and went outside. They lost it in the house. They went outside, was searching sort of outside on the footpath. Someone comes along and says, "Oh, can I help you find what it is you're searching for? What did you lose?" And he said, "My contact lens." And so the two of them were bending down, sort of looking for the contact lens. And the person that had come along said, "I can't see it. Where did you lose it?" He said, "In my house." "Well, why are you looking here?" "Well, there's a lot more light here." So they're never going to find it because there's a lot more. That's how people operate on social media. And so, well, why are you advertising here? Well, it's a lot more light here. There's a lot more people here. That's the wrong people. So it's really sort of starting to question, sort of where your people are hanging out as well. So that's the story. He's got no results, and he came to me to ask whether I could help with. I hope he's not here watching. Is he here? Actually, I don't think he'll mind, because I've spoken to him about this as well, but to help him with search engine optimization. So getting into the search rankings, and he's done a thing that a lot of people do, is they mix up search and Google Ads together. I think it's the same thing. They're two different things, but trying to get into the search engines, but trying to get into search engines to be found for people to come and make an appointment with you for a free consultation. Still got the same problem as well too. So they still don't know them. So what we've got is you've got quite a big gap between I've just met you and having a conversation with you, accepting an invitation to a conversation. So that's a real gap. So what we're going to be talking about today is how do you fill that gap? What actually goes in the middle there so that people go from not knowing you through to being happy to accept an invitation for a conversation, sometimes even offering the conversation. That makes sense. So that was the scenario that came through, and that's why we're sort of talking about this today. The second part of that is that how many people here know they should have a lead magnet on their website or somewhere? Hands up if you know you should have. How many people here actually have a lead magnet and on their website? Okay, so significantly less hands. So we know we need it, but yet we don't do it. What typically gets people stuck are a number of things as well. It's not that we don't want it. It's that, one, what should go in this lead magnet? Two, how do I make it? Three, after I've made it, where do I put it? And when I know where to put it, how do I do it? So what's the tech that I need in order to be able to get it there? And then after that happens, what do I do with it after that? So often what happens is people get stuck at one of those stages there and it never progresses. And I know there's a lot of lead magnets that people have got. They've gone and created these things on Canva. They look fantastic, but that's really where it stopped, and it's the tech that stopped them. So hopefully today we're going to get past that sort of thing so it becomes relatively easy, one, to create your lead magnet and to understand the tech that you need to do it. All right. Yeah, and yeah, AJ, sort of don't really understand them. There's definitely people in businesses that don't really understand what a lead magnet is. So thanks for that. We'll uncover some of what that is as well too. All right, well, let's go back to my screen here. Okay, first thing is, before we get to this, definition of a lead magnet or its purpose, it's only got one job, and effectively that's to get an email address. So if you think of the objective of your lead magnet is to get an email address, that's it, job over. So everything you're doing for your lead magnet, if it's not helping you to get an email address, stop doing it. So just have that in mind. That is your objective. The objective is not to have a conversation, we'll get people to book into a conversation with you. It is to get an email address. So it's a number of steps way back from having a conversation with someone. So with that in mind, a lead magnet is really something you're giving people in exchange for that email address. People might get to, say, your website, and you may have some information on there that's actually really helpful for their particular situation. So let's say, who can I see on screen? I can see Dr. Chris on screen there. He helps people with sort of confidence, speaking, with being on camera, with presentations, and to present themselves with confidence and without sort of tripping over themselves, without tripping over their words and looking like an idiot. Am I right? Have I summed that up? Okay, good. So that's his thing. So there are people out there that have got this problem that they're nervous about even standing up in front of people, let's say in a boardroom, to give a presentation. Some of these people are people like CEOs or CTOs or people in senior positions. They're good at what they do, but they're just not really good in front of people. So a lead magnet is for someone like Chris is not to get them confident on camera. It's just to help them with one small problem: is how do I sort of prepare a presentation, or it could be what are 5 words that I should use at the beginning of a presentation to kick it off with confidence and with gusto. Simple as that. So he may have a one-page document which is about that. He may talk about that on his website, which talks about the problem, and then he offers up a document, a PDF document, which has got a script in it for people to use to modify for themselves at the very beginning of what they're talking about. That is a lead magnet. You're not solving their entire problem about being not confident in front of camera, for instance. You are solving one small problem, which is, how do I start? So if you think about your lead magnet, that's really what your lead magnet does. It's really helping people with the question, how do I start? And so you want to use it to help people to solve one small part of a larger issue. So here are some mistakes that people make with it. One of the biggest ones I see, and I hear it over and over again, people obsess over the design of their lead magnet. So they'll jump into Canva and they want to make it look like it's just this beautiful document that is their mother would be proud of when they download it, and they'll get sort of confidence with it. There is nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that no one knows what this document looks like until they get to download it. It is not going to help you get an email address. It's going to help you after the fact, but it doesn't help you to get an email address. So sort of spending a week on the design of a lead magnet is too much time for something that people are sometimes not even going to open and maybe only glance at. So some of the simplest, easiest lead magnets, Word documents, maybe saved as a PDF. They can be a Google document. It can be a Google spreadsheet. It can be a quick video without having done your hair properly or putting your makeup on. Those there are all effective lead magnets, and those are things that people get after they give you their email address. So what we're focusing in on is how do you get people to give you the email address? So don't worry too much about the design of it. You can always fix up the design later on. If you create a lead magnet and you've spent all this time on design and no one downloads it, you wasted all this time. So you're far better off to get something that is quick, fast, and effective. Get that out there. If it does really get traction, and hopefully it does, then you can recreate it with a bit of design flair on it. Second thing is getting stuck with tech. I talked about that. You create your lead magnet and you just are not really that techy, so you don't know how to get it up onto the website. Simple thing like that there. Or you can get it up onto the website, but you don't know how to deliver the lead magnet with an email. So that's a simple sort of tech issue. So getting stuck with some of these tech things, if you find yourself saying, I don't know how to do this, get help. So that's the easiest, quickest things, when I say get help, you may spend days and days trying to work out how to send out emails automatically. You come to someone like me, I can get that done in about sort of 2 or 3 minutes. So things that you think are big issues are really small issues. So don't get stuck with the tech, just ask for help. And there's lots and lots of people that can help you with this stuff. Asking too much too soon. So there's that question. I don't know you. Let's go on holiday together. So that's never going to. It's a bit like the picture that I've got up on screen there. 2 people catching the bus together. Well, not together. They just happen to be at the same bus stop, and they've been there. They're at the same bus stop. They've been there for the last 5 weeks, and then randomly one day, one of them just turns and says something to the other person about, who knows, lovely weather today, something like that there. That just kicks off an initial conversation. And so after that, they hop on the bus, they go and travel to where they're going. The next day, they're both still at the bus stop. They greet each other because they've got a sense of, oh, well, I spoke with you yesterday. I'll say hello to you. And then there's a few more words exchanged until it goes through. They may be sitting there. They get into, several days later or weeks later, they end up sitting on the bus together. They have a conversation. They find out more about each other. They've spent several weeks traveling on the bus together on your seats next to each other. They end up going. They find out they go to the same gym, so they end up bumping into each other at the gym. After the gym, they sort of say, well, let's go and have a coffee. They have a coffee. They catch a movie, and so this thing progresses to the point where one of them suggests, well, let's go on a cruise. Well, that's sort of like, that's a more natural thing, isn't it? If you're going to propose going on a cruise on the first chat at the bus stop, probably never going to happen. But over time and sort of various conversations, and we call those touch points in marketing, then it's highly likely. So if you like the person, know them, trust them, you're actually going to do a lot more with them. So with your lead magnets, don't ask people to go on holiday. Just ask them sort of how their day is. It's that sort of analogy there. So what it means is you're not asking them to come and book a call with you. You're asking them to download something which is additional information from something that they've already read on your website, or they've seen you on your YouTube channel, and you've got it in the YouTube channel description. You can put a lead magnet down there, or they've seen you on social media. They've checked out your profile, and you've got a link there to your lead magnet. The next thing is just to give them some more information that's going to help them. So yes, you want to book an appointment. It's just not today. Yes, you want to go on holiday, but it's not going to be today. So think about small steps. What is the next small step that someone would reasonably take without too much effort and happy to say yes to, along the journey to becoming a client of yours? So what you're after is getting lots of little yeses. So you're not getting the big yes, lots of little yeses add up to the big yes. And it's a lot easier for people to climb down a cliff face with some steps carved into the side of the cliff than to jump from the top to the bottom. The next mistake that people make is that they do not follow up. So they create the lead magnet, they get it onto their website, somehow they manage to get a delivery email going out, and that's where it all ends. So, and in the delivery email, or maybe in the lead magnet, you've got the book a call with me, a free call, but that's where it ends. So there's an expression out there that says that the fortune is in the follow-up. So what that means is that if you make enough, or if you squeak enough, then and people get to know you enough, then that's when they're going to come and ask you some questions and start to communicate with you. And I think the average, I'm just trying to think where the statistic was, and I'm probably going to quote it wrong, but it's around about like this here. The average person follows up, or business person follows up about 2 to 3 times after an initial conversation. Customers buy typically after 7 to 9 times that someone's followed up. So don't give up if people say no once, twice, 3 times. It is okay to actually follow up 7 times. If you are in my sequence, I follow up for a period of 2 years. So, and there are people that come in as clients, sort of well down the track there with an automated workflow that I'm going to show you on this session here, that they've just continued to have my informational conversation. The other one too is that people focus on top of funnel. So top of funnel is sort of like a desperation move. Everyone needs to have a top of funnel. But when things get desperate, people focus in on top of funnel. And I'm going to talk about what that is. So what a funnel is in marketing is that you've got lots and lots of people that hover, that are potential clients of yours that don't know you yet. They see a piece of social media content. They might have heard you as a guest on someone else's podcast. They may have met you at a networking meeting. All of those people, what we call top of funnel. So they're just at the point where they have become aware of you and who you are, and probably, what it is that you do, your products and services that you offer. So that's top of funnel. And typically, that's often where a lead magnet sits, at the top there. It's where they're getting to know who you are. Then you've got what they call middle of funnel, and then you've got bottom of funnel. Now, bottom of funnel is typically where people are in the buying arena. So this is the time that they're ready to make buying decisions. And if you've done your job well enough with your lead magnet and you've followed up, you've asked for small commitments on the way through, so small yeses, and lots of them to take them through their journey as a potential customer with you, then they get through to saying yes at the big yes, which is only a little yes for them because they've already made these little steps all along the way. This is just the next little step. So we're going to talk about the various aspects in the funnel for your lead magnet, and there are different lead magnets for different places in the funnel as well too. So just a quick tip too, lead magnets are more than just PDFs. Often people think of a lead magnet as just a PDF document that people can download. They can be any range of things. They can be pre-recorded videos or videos. This webinar that you're on, the content that's in here, I can use this as a lead magnet. It's recorded, I can repurpose it, and I can use this as a lead magnet on how to create lead magnets, for instance. So this can be a lead magnet. Ebooks are lead magnets. There are things like guest posts. If you've done a guest post for someone, you can create that as a lead magnet. There's just such a range. If you've got a free gift that can be a lead magnet as well too. So don't think of it just as PDF documents, but we are going to focus on the simple thing like a PDF. But hopefully you'll be able to expand your mind and sort of think about it wider than that as well too. All right, there is a lot on the slide. I could have fit this into 50 slides. I put it into one. I'm not expecting you to read it. I'm going to give you these slides at the end as well too, so that you can go through it. This is a checklist for you to go through as well too. So it's definitely something you want to grab after the session. So you'll see on the left-hand side, we've got an inverted triangle and it's got the words tofu, mofu, and bofu in it. That is top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. So remember when I talked about people sort of really sort of focus on the top of the funnel, that's that very top area. That's in the area where you're just meeting people for the first time. That's your top of funnel. So you're at the bus stop and maybe you've been at the bus stop for 6 weeks, just sort of meeting and chatting to the same person. Top of funnel. And so typically there in that top of funnel, they don't know you yet. They're probably not going to buy anything from you at this stage here. They're sort of really sort of getting to know you. And so at this stage here, they may have found you on places like social media. They could have stumbled across a webinar that you're running, like say something like this tonight. This can be top of funnel. Maybe they met you at a physical networking meeting. That's sort of top of funnel as well too. But typically sort of online, you're looking at often social media. They may have found you through the search engines. If you're running ads, possibly they've found you through there. And there is a place to run ads to top of funnel. Just don't expect people to buy at that stage. So what you're doing is you are running ads to get people's email address. So that's your top of funnel process. Not running ads for people to buy, but to get their email address. Once you've got the email address, then you can continue the communication and they'll buy at some other stage down bottom of funnel. So it can be a useful thing, but you do need to have a bit of a budget and know that you're not going to get a return on it for a wee while. But you don't need to run ads at that stage there. You can do most of the stuff, you can just do it organically. So what's at top of funnel? So you can offer things like checklists. So think about your business, what business you're in. Who am I looking at on screen at the moment? I can see Jeff Summers. He's the reputation marketing sort of guy. So he might have a checklist on the top 7 places where you can manage your reputation. You might think, well, what's your reputation? Well, that's places like where people leave comments about you. So LinkedIn, people can leave reviews about you on LinkedIn. Google, Google Business? People can leave reviews on Google Business about their experience with you. Social media, that is a big place for reputation management. People can talk about you all day long there and say all sorts of things about you, and without you having much opportunity to defend yourself. So those are all sort of places of reputation management. Now, if someone's had someone in social media slag them off, potentially slanderous, talking about their business, and it's started to affect their business, do you think they might be interested in something about how to remove comments on social media that are negative comments? Do you think they're interested in that? Absolutely. So if you offered up a lead magnet, which is a checklist on or a how-to guide on how to remove negative comments from social media and reviews, that's likely to get a download. Now, I can tell you the answer to that's probably not what they want to hear, is that it's virtually impossible, but that's what they want. You give them a lead magnet and then you might be talking about, well, I'm sorry, you can't remove them, but here are some things that you can do to mitigate them and push them into irrelevance. So something like that is a lead magnet. So you've got someone with a high need, probably a high level of pain in the sense that someone's talking badly about them and they want to do something about it. You're offering to help them to solve a small, what they might see as a major problem, but a small problem right now, and they can do it themselves. So if you think about the lead magnet is offering them to do something themselves. You're not going to do it for them. You're not charging them for it. There's no expectation they're going to come to you to get the rest of it. They can do this themselves. Does that make sense? So think about what are small things you offer, and remember, you're not solving their entire problem. you're solving one small part of their problem or issue. So some good ones. If you've seen Score app, so Daniel Priestley's got an app out there called Score app. That's a quiz and self-assessment type of app. That's a great top of funnel thing. So it might be something like, at what stage in business are you at the moment? Are you a startup? Are you sort of micro business, macro business, whatever it is? So that could be a quiz. There might be a number of questions they ask about that there. Swipe files and templates. They're really good top of funnel stuff. So you often see that with people that are like, let's say, Instagram experts. So they've got a whole lot of Canva templates that they offer out, and that's top of funnel. And so anyone that's wanting to market organically on, say, Instagram, and there's 100 templates they can use, that's the sort of thing they're going to download. So very simple, no commitment apart from their email address. And they get to use it right away. So there's a number of things in that top of funnel. As I say, you're going to get this, and you can sort of check through, what might be suitable and appropriate for your business. And rule of thumb here, these should be things that you can put together and create within about 30 minutes. So you've either already got the material together, and so you just need to collate it together, or it's easy to summarize. Someone has mentioned AI. That was Ray in chat. Uses ChatGPT 4, so you can use ChatGPT to actually create some of these things for you. So, and when I say create it, I'm saying you may have the content of it. You can upload the content to ChatGPT and ask it to create a checklist or a guide or whatever for you, and that sort of stuff can be done in about 2 to 3 minutes. So these are really sort of quick things that you can create. All right, so that's your top of funnel. That's awareness. This is where people get to know who you are, and the mindset that people have is, I've got a problem, I'm just browsing. So in a show, everybody asks that question, can I help you? No, just looking. That's these sort of people here at top of funnel. They're just looking. And if you're wanting to get those little micro yeses, so those small yeses along the way that add up, so what you want them to say is, look, I'll check this out if it's quick and easy. If they can just download it, email address, and apply it, that's a quick little yes. That all good? Any questions? Have I lost you? Have I not covered anything? Have I clouded anything for you? All right, perfect. Okay. All right. So next stage this is what we call middle of funnel or MOFU. And this is where people, they now know you. They're familiar with you. They've read some of your material. They've probably followed you on social media in that top of funnel area. They've seen some of your videos. If you've got a YouTube channel, this is a really good opportunity to ensure that you create a YouTube channel. And the things that you put out in text, you also put into video as well. So, and the videos don't need to be long. They can be anything from 30-second videos to 10-minute videos. They don't need to be long at all, and sort of answering the same sorts of questions. So your videos there are helping to give people a sense of who you are, determine whether they like you and whether they trust you and whether they're happy to go further with you. So middle funnel is where you start to get into some more depth with the issue or problem or solution that they're looking for. So they can be things like a workbook or a planner. So for instance, it could be a social media planner. So, if you're wanting to create content for the next quarter, not quite sure where to start, and you're wanting to have, let's say, a plan of, what to say when. So, you've got a day of quotes, a day with a case study, a day with a personal story, that sort of thing there. So that's a planner. So that there could be a lead magnet for that. Email challenges. You might have seen this as well, where people have got, say, a 5-day Facebook challenge. That's a middle of funnel thing as well too. So it could be what I saw one recently, actually. What was that? I think it was to do with the Go High Level Serum. So, but it was a 5-day challenge on, I think it was on how to use AI agents to call up to make cold calls for you. So a 5-day challenge, and at the end of it, you would know how to deploy an AI bot to make calls for you. So that was quite a specific one in a CRM. But think about your industry. What's a thing, a quick training that you can run over 5 days that will help people to solve a more complex part of their issue or problem that would be of value for them. So this is free for them. So you could actually sell it too. So at this stage here, you could sell for a low price as well. So I've got a colleague, colleague of mine who sells a template for $7. So he's got a proposal template he sells for $7, and that there is his lead magnet for middle of funnel. It could be, who have I got? I'm looking at David Fisher, who works with business owners who are transitioning out of their business. So they're ready to sell the business, ready to move on, and what's next. So he could have a 5-day challenge, for instance, on how to set up your business for sale. Something as simple as that. It could be a resource library. It could be case studies. Case studies are ones as well too. So if you've got clients who've had success with your product or service, those are great things to turn into lead magnets. So people want. So this is proof for people. But what you want with those case studies is for people to look at them and read them or watch them and think, oh, that's just like me. That's the situation I'm in. If you get them starting to say that's like me, then that's an ideal lead magnet for that middle of funnel. They could be demo videos, behind the scenes, webinars, masterclass, all that sort of thing in there too. So this is really helping them to solve problems a bit more depth, but more than that, this is the area where they're starting to trust you. Also, this is your email marketing goes out here too. So if someone's downloaded your lead magnet from the top of funnel, now you have your follow-up emails that go through. And I would suggest that when people download your first lead magnet, you've got sort of 7 to 10 days worth of emails lined up in there, or 1 to 2 weeks, more than 1 week, but less than 2 weeks worth of emails that go out every single day. So a new email every day. And then after that, my recommendation is that you have an email a week go out, and mine run for 2 years. So 24 months, they get an email a week from me. So that way they can't ignore me. I'm always in their inbox. They might not always read my emails. In fact, I know they don't always read my emails. They may not be in a position where they actually need my product or service at the moment. But someday in that 2-year period, they're probably going to sort of think, I need to do something about my CRM. Who would I talk to about that? There's this guy, Nik Cree. He's been emailing me every week about this funky new CRM that he's got. Maybe I should talk to him. So what you're doing is that you're setting the scene where when they start to compare you against someone else in that space, they choose you because they know you. So middle of funnel is your opportunity for them to get to know you enough to have the conversation. Does that make sense? All right, so their mindset is at that stage there, I know who you are. Show me some of you, show me that you know your stuff, that you really know what you're doing. And they're micro yes, these small yeses. I'll spend more time with you if it helps me to solve my problem. All right, so the first one's at the top there. I'll check it out if it's quick and easy and doesn't involve much time at all. Next one is I'm actually happy to spend more time if I can see that tangibly is going to help me to solve the issue that I've got. And then the next one is bottom of funnel or BOFU, and that's often where people have conversations with you. And typically, if you are running ads, it's at bottom of funnel that ads are effective for selling things. So top of funnel is effective for getting email addresses. Bottom of funnel is helpful to getting sales. And often people that convert into sales, like when people are running ads, you may get, you may actually get sales at that bottom, so when you're running ads to a cold audience, but they've already done their research, they're at bottom of funnel, they're ready to make a buying decision at that point there. So at that point there, your lead magnets for that area there And these are like follow-on lead magnets as well, or the next steps. You can offer a free trial. So, if you've got sort of online software, or you've got things where you can offer free trials. You've got a gym. I think I went to the gym. I had a 1 week free trial there. It didn't kill me, so I joined up. You can have limited access. This is your book a free 15-minute strategy session. That's where this sits, bottom of funnel. So can you see the problem that the person I spoke about at the very beginning, they're running ads to a cold audience to book a free session with them. They're at the top of funnel. It's like, I want something quick and easy. A 15-minute strategy session is not quick and easy and requires a bit of a commitment. And it's not just at the browsing stage. They're actually making a commitment of time. You can have discounts, promo codes, samples, product samples. So if you're in the product business, this is a great place to send out samples. So we've got a client that has food-based products. They send out samples to the distributors to find out whether they like them, and then they make their sales from there. So there are other principles that work there. Any of you that are familiar with Robert Cialdini's work, Psychology of Influence, if you give something to someone for free, they feel obligated to return the favor. So it's a bit like being at the bar, at a pub. If I buy you a drink, there is this unwritten expectation that the next round's on you. So it's that sort of thing there. So that's a psychological thing that happens in that. So product samples can be good for that sort of thing. You can do live demos, mini trainings there, and again, sort of case studies in here. Testimonials are great as well at this time here, and you can have sort of limited time offers and bonuses and all that sort of thing there to help get people through to the sale. So that's your bottom of funnel. So you've got 3 areas there, 3 different types of lead magnets, all sort of heading into sort of more depth, moving from I don't know you, yes, I found out more about you, you prove yourself to me, through to okay, I know who you are, I trust you, where do we go next? I'm going to buy from you. So that bottom of funnel is yes, I'm considering this, help me justify my decision, and the little yes is yes, let's talk about it, I'm nearly sold. So one of the experiences I had just this week was it was just this. Did a product demo, and at the end of the demo, it was like, well, what did you think of that? And their response was, I really like it. And I said, well, what would you like to do? And they said, well, let's do it. So that there is a very simple yes. We're not going from the top there, I've got no idea what this tool is, to say yes. It's like, I actually know you, and this person had worked with me for a while, and it's like, yeah, I really like this, is going to fit my solution. It was just a small yes, it wasn't a big yes. Does that make sense? And you'll see the arrows down the middle of the screen is all along the process here. You think about what are the small steps you can take people through to make small yeses along the way. So, and if you think about your objective, like your major objective, like you want them to, let's say, book a consultation with you, my suggestion to you would be to think about what are 10 steps between where they are at the moment that they could take before they book the consultation. What are 10 easy steps that they could say yes to on the way through there? Map that out. And then you start to create your lead magnets and content for each of those 10 steps. Now, it might take them only 2 or 3 minutes to go through them, or it might take 2 or 3 months. But what you'll find is you'll improve your conversion rate, you'll get better clients, you'll get happier clients. You have to do less convincing, and people are going to be more willing to do something. All right. This model here is really where you bring it all together. There are 3 parts to this. This is a typical sort of Venn diagram. And this addresses the areas that probably the major areas where people stumble there. So you've got strategy, you've got systems and automate, and you've got communication. The place that people spend the least amount of time is in the strategy. So where they spend the most amount of time is in the sort of systems tech automation area. Probably not so much that automation. So what I mean by that is that people think, I need a lead magnet. I've heard about lead magnets. I need to create one. They just jump straight in there. and they often fail with that as well too, or they run ads. So they're going to run some ads, so they just jump into running ads. So very tactical sort of things. Strategy is thinking about your strategy that encompasses, what is it that I really want to achieve in my business? It's not just with the lead magnet, but in my business. Who are the sorts of clients that I'm dealing with? Anyone that says I work with everybody is probably struggling and is probably possibly working with nobody. So you need to define down something that people can grasp onto. It's not that you can't help everyone. It's just that you need to give people a sense of, I understand what you do, and what you do and what you're saying, it sounds like me. So if you can get them to say those words, then that's how you're describing your customer. Now, when you are describing your customer, this is not the only customer you're going to have. You can have, and people call it sort of niching or a customer avatar. And the comments I hear from that often is that, well, if I narrow myself down, then I'm going to miss out on all these other opportunities. So, which is a fair assessment, but it works the other way around. If you can narrow down what you do and the sorts of clients and people that you are willing to work with, so that you can describe them accurately, you will get more business. And then once you've got, you can clearly communicate with that set of people there, you can add on another type of client avatar or another type of product. But get very specific. If there's one thing I want to say, get very specific about who your client is, what you do, and probably more important, and it's probably an easy way to start, is what you are not willing to do. So make a list of everything you won't do, make a list of all the clients you won't deal with, and make a list of all the products that you and services you are not going to deliver. That will help you whittle it down to what you are prepared to do. So that's just one small tip to get to your strategy. And then your strategy is all about thinking about how do these people that don't know me yet, how do they typically make decisions to get through to making booking an appointment with me or buying from me. So and with AI, with the likes of ChatGPT, you can do that really easily. So if you want a really easy way to do it, ChatGPT has got this really cool tool in it. It's called Deep Research. And if you just put into ChatGPT, what is deep research or how do I find it? It will tell you. And you can do things like you can analyze your closest, nearest competitor that may be grabbing your clients or the sorts of clients that you want. And you can ask ChatGPT to tell you their marketing strategy, their client avatar, and what are the gaps that they're not serving with their particular clients. And what are the opportunities that, based on what it knows about you, that you could fill that they're not currently serving. So ChatGPT will help you to do that. But look for that deep research tool that is in ChatGPT. That it'll take about 8 minutes to go through it, 8 to 10 minutes for it to complete. It will tell you that, but the information you get out of that is very thorough and very useful and helpful. It will help you with your strategy. Your goals, think about things like your how many clients and customers that you can effectively serve. So whether that's a weekly, monthly, or annual goal, how much money do you want to make? So, sort of over that period of time, what's your average product sale or service sale? How much do you want to make off each of those? And so work out all that sort of stuff. And then that's going to help to guide you in terms of what sort of lead magnet you want, what sort of systems you need, what sort of tech that you need, and then help you with your communication strategy as well too. So your communication strategy with someone who is on Centrelink is going to be quite different to someone who is a senior executive of a company. So you need to think about how you communicate, and you can only do that once you know who your customers are. So the sorts of assets that you are going to need for your lead magnet. Remember, you'll get this. So this is a checklist for you to use. Actually, I'll come back to that. Let's go back again. Your audience. Let's start at your audience first. In the strategy area, you're thinking about their demographics. That's where they live, how many kids they've got, all that sort of thing. Psychographics, how they think, language patterns. How do they describe things? Focusing on wants versus what they need. So wants are what they tell you, needs are what they don't tell you, but it's going to fix their problem. Urgency, some money, pain versus gain. Assets you're going to need are going to be a lead magnet, a landing page, a thank you page, a delivery page, a delivery email, a 7 to 9 daily email sequence, and then 24 months worth of emails in a sequence, before you add them to your general email list. So seems like a lot of work, but today with these tools with ChatGPT, it will help you with all this. I'm not saying you get it to write all of your content, but you get it to help you plan the content and write the content. And you can write the content. Emails don't necessarily need to be particularly long. Anyone that's in my email sequence for lead magnets knows that I talk about some of the tools that you use, and some of the things that are going to help with creating these tools. And then traffic. So you think about traffic. How do people discover your lead magnet? So how are you using social media? So you need to have a social media strategy. So that comes back into this pink area. So pink and blue, so communication and strategy. So are you communicating every day, every week? What sort of video you're doing? Your search engine optimization? Are you getting onto other people's podcasts? Are you running webinars? Are you getting onto other people's webinars? Who can you write guest posts for? So there's a great opportunity. Collaborations. Who else serves the same audience that you serve, that's not competing with you, that you could cross-refer or do something for each other that would edify each other with their clients? And then I popped ads down there too. It's a legitimate strategy, but don't run ads until you've got all of your organic stuff running well too. If you want to see my 24-month automated email sequence, this video here goes on and on and on. You will see the whole thing down there. I've recorded a tutorial on this, on how I set this all up. It's available to you to go and see at this link here. This is all clickable. So again, we'll give you this presentation. You can click on it and then you can go and see how I set this up inside my CRM. I've forgotten this is even running. Sometimes I get people come through and I think, where did you come from? And I have to go back through and discover, and I've discovered it's come through this email sequence in my CRM. And the tech stack. Here's the tech stack that I use. Website. You should have a website. So, that's where people are generally going to you. So I happen to use WordPress and iConnection, which is a CRM Go High Level. And so that CRM that I use, that's got the majority of my tech in it. So it's got a CRM, it does email sequences, automation, the pipeline, the sales pipeline, booking calendars, landing pages, payment gateways, social media posting from in there, mini courses, memberships, all of that is in that one thing. So you don't need separate tools for it. It is all in that one CRM that I use. I do use ChatGPT, Canva, 3D book cover app, Zoom, Google Workspace, YouTube, Zapier, and other people's marketing. That's probably not part of my tech stack, but when you appear on other people's podcasts, then they actually do a whole lot of marketing that you get to benefit from. So that helps with your search engine optimization. But the central part of it is this CRM. Everything for me is pretty much driven out of this iConnection Go High Level CRM. And that's it. So if you have any questions, we've run out of time. I will take, if we've got any sort of small questions. What do we got? I'll just have a look at chat there. I didn't get the name of the item on chat GPT, finding what the opposite. Okay, deep research. Yes, Mike's answered that. Excellent. All right. Okay. Fabulous. All right. So which CRM should I be using? The best CRM to use is the one that you've got. The next best one is the one that I use a Go High Level CRM. So I've got a version of Go High Level. That's the one that I support people with and help with setting up all of these, types of pipelines and funnels and that type of thing there. That's the one I recommend because it's got so many other things and everything's all in the one place. You can get rid of a lot of other apps and tools that you're using with that one CRM too. So I know there's a number of people on this call that are using that as well too. All right. So if you do want any help with it all, feel free to catch up with me. I've got the QR code on the screen there. Will take you through to book a meeting with me. Yes, this one's a book a meeting with me. I don't consider you all top of funnel. I think you all know me sort of reasonably well. That if there's anything of value here that's going to help you, that you can come and catch up with me for it. All right. Let's stop the share. And that there is the end of our session today. Any comments, feedback, questions, anything like that? Final last words, last requests. Fabulous. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. I go high level with my experience. Thank you. All right.
Nick, I put up there, you're the best presenter Nik Cree has ever had, except Christian.
I wasn't going to read that comment, Mike. Thank you very much. All right. Well, look, we do have a door prize for today, and the door prize is a session with me to map out your lead magnet and funnel, and all the things that you need with it, plus the tech stack with it. That can take anything from an hour to an hour and a half. Can either be one session or two broken up. But at the end of all that there, you'll have everything that you need to have an effective automated lead magnet and system running for you. So that is the prize for tonight. So remember, you need to be in the room for that if you're drawn. So we have our wheel of names, our famous wheel of names. So let's spin the wheel and find out who our lucky winner is tonight. All right, she's away now. The dogs are racing. The wheel is spinning. And our lucky winner is Peter Brayshaw. I think he's disappeared, actually. Are you here, Pete?
Oh, I'm here, Nick.
What? Oh, heck. Oh, it is Peter then.
Just eating my dinner.
That's the story. Excellent.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
Well, let's get some cocktails out or a couple of beers or whatever, and we can run through that session with you.
No, very invaluable. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Fabulous. Excellent. All right. Well, that's our session. If you've enjoyed the session tonight, don't keep it a secret. Tell everyone else that we have the show on a Tuesday night. If you do want to watch it again, because I got told today that I speak rather quickly, it will be up on YouTube channel. You don't put it on double speed. Maybe you want to put it on half speed if you want to catch it all. It'll be up on YouTube tomorrow afternoon. The link for the YouTube channel is in the chat right now, and also the Facebook group. We did live stream it through there, so if you want to get to it before the YouTube channel, it will be there, plus all of the online apps and tools as well too. The other thing I should say too, before I say that, now's a good time to save the chat. You do that by clicking the three little dots on the top right hand side, and it'll give you a link to open it as soon as you've done that. Click that link so you don't have to search for it. You'll have it open. I'm looking for some more speakers as well too. So if you happen to know anyone that has got a topic, an area, a specialty, or an expertise that you think will be valuable to actually showcase here and to share with everyone, shoot me an email, shoot me a message or whatever, and let me know, or make an introduction, and I'm happy to have a chat with them as well too. So, and if there are any topics that anyone would like to cover as well, let me know, and we'll go and hunt out for some speakers for those topics as well. Jeff.
Nick, those slides you said we're going to get.
Yes, well, we'll shoot those out into the email straight after tonight. So probably in the next hour or so, they'll be the download in the email tonight. So look out for the email.
Thank you.
Fabulous. All right. Well, that's our session for tonight. So thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for putting up with me. Hopefully it was of value, and hopefully we get to see you with some of your lead magnets out. And when I ask that question, who's got a lead magnet on their website? I see lots of hands going up. All right. Let's go and have a good evening. I'll catch up with you here next week. See you again.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. That was heaps and heaps of value. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Nick.